But I also want to talk about, in my experiences, even though we may or may not have as a school instructional coaches or somebody who has that title, I do want to talk a little bit about the notion that, certainly principals and supervisors do want to do something for those struggling teachers. Sometimes they don't know what to do or how to do it or when to do it, but they certainly do want to do something. And sometimes in schools, they don't have the manpower, the bandwidth to have somebody who has that title of instructional coach to go down and work with those teachers who are new or struggling. What ends up happening is, and I call it the too many cooks in the kitchen approach. So typically a teacher next door comes down to the administrator and says, "Hey, there's lots of noise in Mr. Smith's room," and so the supervisor or principal looks around the office and looks for a warm body that they can encourage to go down and talk to Mr. Smith. And the next day, more concerns, and the supervisor or principal looks around the office and sees a warm body and sends a different person down to Mr. Smith's room. And by the end of the week, there have been 4 or 5 different people in Mr. Smith's room trying to help him with the classroom management issues that they're seeing. And there's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's too many voices because typically we don't hire somebody whose sole job is to support those new and struggling teachers. And even when we do hire somebody with the title of instructional coach, like you said, they tend to be used in lots of different ways. And it's where's the biggest fire that day? And let's send Kelly down. Kelly can take care of that. And it might not be to be coaching at all. So I think it's interesting, those things you're saying then about the differences. And I agree that that's my experience as well. And some of the reasons that I think virtual coaching is certainly one route to take. I will also say that I've known a lot of people who have had the title of instructional coach. They were maybe a teacher in the building, and they were an opening came up, and they were given that responsibility, that duty, that title, without a whole lot of preparation or understanding of what does that mean exactly? What do you have to do to be qualified to be an instructional coach in a building? And sometimes it's just that you were a content expert. Maybe you have no experience working with another adult and helping them, being their Sherpa and helping them climb that mountain. And so that's of concern to me too. And the beauty of our virtual coaching services is that everybody who's a virtual coach with us has worn that coaching hat and has worn it successfully. So we know that we've got the best of the best who are working with teachers who are new and struggling and have no time to be given incorrect advice.